You're a linguist. I should probably watch my speech around you. No, I hear that all the time. When I tell people that I'm a linguist, they think that I'm going to be judging them. Ironically, we are the people that are least likely to judge your speech. And this is why. There's a concept in linguistics called prescriptivism versus descriptivism. Prescriptivism has the word prescribe in it, right? People that prescribe things tell you what to do. Linguists are not prescriptivists. We are descriptivists. Description, we describe things. So, in general, if we hear somebody say something that we think is part of a regional variant, like I'm from Ohio and I say things like, the dog needs walked. Some people might say, oh no, that's bad, that's wrong. You don't say stuff like that. Well, I do. And as a linguist, it's interesting that that exists in my variety or my dialect and it doesn't exist for other people. The problem is that grammar pedantry, or being the grammar police or the language police, actually gives you social power. And so a lot of people that are interested in language don't have any other point of entry to linguistics, because we don't teach linguistics in public school, other than being pedants, other than policing other people's language. And so unfortunately, a lot of kids who are young people who are super interested in language learn really early to be the police about language. Oh, you can't say could have instead of could have. It doesn't really matter to linguists. And I've given some examples that I know are going to be like controversial for you guys. But at the end of the day, what happens is when you police people's language, it's almost always nothing to do with the grammatical or sound construction that they're using, and everything to do with the social power that's associated with that construction, right? We've thought about this about African American English. Oh, it's so bad to say ain't. Oh, it's so bad to say something like he wild instead of he's wild. We've learned, I think, as a culture, that AAE has its own prestige, its own culture, its own tradition, and that we're not supposed to police people for that. I hope we don't, right? But there are other ways of speaking that we will say, oh, I don't know, I don't really think that's about race or class or gender. But it always is. So next time that you run into somebody and the way that they speak makes you kind of cringe, take a step back and think about it. What associations am I making with that way of saying something? Do I assume that they're poor or less educated than me or from a different racial background, or that English is their second language? Because there's nothing wrong with ending a sentence with a preposition. You're not going to say that's something up with which I would not put. But policing people who do things like that is always a sign of discrimination.